List.append will add a single item to the end of a list. So in this example here, we say nums.append 50, therefore 50 is added to the end of a list, as we can see here. List.extend will take an iterable item. So in this case, we passed in a list, and it's going to add each of these individually to the end, just like this. So in this case, we add 50, 60, 70 because they appear in the list here. And the final method to add something to a list is insert. This takes two arguments, a position and an item to add. So in this case here, we're saying at index 0, add the number 10. We hit run. We now see that 10 has been added to index 0. To remove all items from a list, simply use list.clear. This is done in place and it's permanent. So when we hit run, we now see an empty list. Another in-place method is reverse, which simply reverses the order of the items. So in this case, we should see 40, 30, 20, just like that. We can sort a list in place one more time by saying nums.sort. So if I run this one, we sort it normally. However, if we do nums.sort reverse equals true, we can sort it the other way as well. We can use list.pop to remove the last item from a list and return it. In this case here, it'll return 40 to this item. So the list will only contain 20, 30, popped item is 40. Alternatively, add an index to this, and it then removes the item at that index. So in this case, 0 removes the first item, returning it to here, so now the list only has 30 and 40. Kind of similar to pop, except this time it doesn't return the item. If we do nums.remove item, it's going to take out the list. So in this case, if we hit run, we see 20 is gone. However, if you pass in an item that does not exist already, you're left with a value error. If we use list.copy, we're given a shallow copy of the list. That means that in this case here, if I do nums.append 100, that means that only nums will have this appended to it, and this copied nums will be totally independent. So if we hit run here, we see that 100 is added to this list and not the other. If I didn't do .copy and hit run, we see 100 added to both because these both point to the same object. And our last two methods can be shown together. These are count and index. This is going to say, tell me how many times this appears. So in this case, I'm saying how many times does 20 appear? So if I go and stick some more 20s on the end here, hit run, we see we get 3 here. And then this nums.index, this tells you where something is, giving you a value error if that item isn't there. So in this case, 10 is not on the list, so we get an error. However, say I change this to 30, it's telling us index of 1, so 0, 1 here. If there's more than one of these, it'll tell you the first place where the item exists.